Alex adjusted his backpack nervously as he stared out of the small observation window of the space shuttle. The planet below was a swirl of green and blue, glowing softly under the light of its sun. He could see rivers shining like silver threads, and forests stretching endlessly. This was Erythea, the home planet of his girlfriend Lyra. He had never imagined he would leave Earth so soon, let alone to meet an alien family. His mind raced with questions. Would they like him? Would he do something wrong by accident? He had watched enough holofilms about human-alien encounters to know things could go badly fast. "Alex, are you even listening?" Lyra's voice cut through his thoughts. She floated beside him, her translucent skin reflecting the soft sunlight in colors he could not name. Her eyes, a mix of violet and green, twinkled with amusement. "I'm, thinking," Alex replied, scratching the back of his neck. "Thinking about what to expect. You know, your family. They might have strange rules." Lyra laughed, lightly. "Strange to you, maybe, but to us they are simple. You just need to be yourself, Alex. That is what matters most." Alex tried to smile, but his stomach felt like it had a gravity of its own. He opened his backpack and checked his gifts again. There were packets of chocolate, small gadgets from Earth, and a photo album he had made showing his life, his friends, and his little hometown. He hoped it would be enough. The shuttle began its descent, and Alex gripped the handles tightly. Outside, the Erythian city rose like a forest of light. The buildings hovered slightly above the ground, supported by beams of energy. Walkways shimmered as if made of liquid light. Alex felt his jaw drop. "Welcome to Erythea," Lyra said softly, taking his hand. "You will see soon why my family is so important to me." Alex nodded. He wanted to say something clever, but all that came out was, "It's beautiful." They landed near a glowing walkway that led to Lyra's family estate. As they walked, Alex noticed plants that seemed to hum and creatures that floated by like tiny lanterns. Some had wings, others glowed softly. He tried not to stare too much. He did not want to offend anyone. When they reached the estate, a figure stepped forward. Lyra's father. He was tall, with long arms and skin that shimmered faintly in rainbow colors. His eyes met Alex's, and Alex felt a strange pressure in his head. A telepathic greeting. "Welcome, human, we have heard of you." Alex jumped back slightly, startled. He had forgotten about telepathy. Thank you," he said. He hoped it sounded polite. Lyra giggled beside him. "It is polite. You may answer with your voice. Telepathy is not required." Her father's stern expression softened, and Alex realized he was being studied, not judged. Lyra's mother stepped forward next, her skin more violet than her husband's. She extended a limb in what Alex guessed was a handshake. He offered his hand nervously, and she lightly touched it with 2 fingers, then smiled. "Good," Lyra whispered. "You're off to a decent start." Inside the estate, more family members awaited. Lyra's older brother, a curious mix of blue and green hues, eyed Alex with a raised eyebrow. Her younger siblings hovered around, giggling and whispering to each other. Some of them waved tiny appendages at him. Alex tried to bow as he had seen in one of Lyra's holo videos, but he misjudged and ended up leaning at a strange angle. He felt heat rise to his face. "It's okay," Lyra said softly. "They find your awkwardness charming." The first meal was an experience Alex could never forget. Plates of glowing fruits and textured foods that floated in midair appeared before him. He picked up one and tried it cautiously. The taste exploded in his mouth, sweet, tangy, and slightly sparkling. He could not stop smiling. "You like it?" Lyra asked, clearly amused by his reaction. Yes. It's amazing," Alex said. "I have never tasted anything like this on Earth." Her father nodded approvingly. "Humans adapt quickly. That is good. Adaptability is valued here." Alex relaxed slightly. Maybe he could handle this, but just as he thought that, Lyra's older brother leaned closer. "You will need to participate in our traditions," he said, his voice serious. They are not easy, but they will show your heart. Alex swallowed. Traditions? He asked. Lyra's brother smiled faintly. Yes, but do not worry. We do not seek perfection. We seek understanding. You will see soon. Lyra squeezed Alex's hand gently. I told you, you just need to be yourself. Everything else will follow. That night, Alex lay in a room that glowed softly with light from the walls. He could hear the hum of the plants outside and the faint laughter of the younger Erythians. He felt nervous but also excited. Meeting Lyra's family was nothing like he expected. They were strange, yes, but not frightening. And somehow he already felt a connection forming. He thought about Earth, about his friends and family, and then at Lyra. The distance between worlds seemed small now, compared to the step he had taken to be here. He realized that whatever challenges awaited him, he had made the choice to be part of something bigger, something truly remarkable. As he drifted to sleep under the alien stars visible through the ceiling, Alex whispered softly, I hope I can do this right, for her. Outside, Lyra watched him from her doorway. She smiled, knowing that the human she cared for was braver than he realized. Tomorrow, the real meeting with her family would begin, and Alex would face tests he could not yet imagine. But, for now, she allowed him a moment of quiet wonder, admiring how a human could feel so small in a new world yet already belong in it. The next morning, Alex woke to the gentle hum of Erythia's gardens outside his window. Soft rays of sunlight filtered through translucent leaves, painting patterns on the floor. He stretched and blinked, still amazed at the alien beauty surrounding him. Today, he would meet more of Lyra's family and face the first real tests of their traditions. He stepped out of his room to find Lyra waiting with a tray of floating breakfast fruits. Good morning, she said, her voice melodic and warm. Are you ready for today? Alex hesitated, eyeing the glowing fruits. I think so. But what do you mean by ready? I don't even know what to expect. Lyra smiled. Your family wants to see your heart as well as your mind. Today you will participate in simple trials. Nothing dangerous, but they will test your patience, empathy, and understanding. Alex nodded nervously. Sounds complicated. It is not as bad as it sounds, Lyra said, giggling. Just trust yourself. After breakfast, Lyra led Alex to a large, open courtyard. Several members of her family were already gathered, their colors glowing softly in the morning light. Lyra's father, tall and imposing, stepped forward. Alex, he said, his voice echoing slightly. Today, you will face the first tradition, the mind mirror. It is a test of honesty and emotion. You will share a story from your life, and the family will connect with it telepathically. Alex froze. Telepathically? You mean I have to let you read my thoughts? Not read. Lyra corrected gently. Feel. Share what you are willing. It is voluntary, but honesty matters most. Alex swallowed. He had never shared so much of himself with anyone, let alone a group of aliens who could sense his feelings. But looking at Lyra, he saw encouragement in her eyes. He nodded. He stepped into a soft, glowing circle in the courtyard. His mind seemed to open to the family around him. Slowly he spoke, recounting a story from his childhood. How he had built a small radio from scratch with his father. How they had stayed up late laughing and experimenting. How mistakes had taught him more than success ever could. As he spoke, he felt a gentle warmth in his head, a connection forming. The family was listening, not judging. Alex realized they could feel his emotions, his love for his family, his curiosity, and his struggles. When he finished, the courtyard was silent for a moment. Then Lyra's mother extended a limb toward him. Your honesty is admirable, Alex. That is what matters. You have passed the first part. Alex exhaled deeply, a huge weight lifting from his chest. He looked at Lyra, who smiled proudly. See? Not so bad. Next, Lyra's older brother approached. Now comes a more physical test, he said. but it is also about creativity. You must guide a creature through a puzzle. Cooperation is key. Alex blinked at the small floating creature hovering nearby. It looked like a jellyfish with soft, glowing tendrils. Lyra's brother explained that the creature could sense fear and frustration and would respond better to calmness and patience. Alex took a deep breath. He remembered how he had calmed stray animals back on Earth. Slowly, he reached out and guided the creature through the floating hoops and glowing obstacles. At first, it ignored him, drifting in random directions. Alex remained calm, talking to it softly. Step by step, he led it through the puzzle. When the creature finally reached the end, it circled him twice and glowed brightly. Lyra clapped quietly. "Good job," she said. "You are learning quickly." Alex felt a rush of pride. He had worried so much about failing, but he realized the family valued his attitude more than perfection. Afterward, they walked through the gardens where younger family members showed Alex some of their playful traditions. They taught him how to levitate small objects with light telekinetic energy, and he laughed at his clumsy attempts. He stumbled, nearly bumping into a glowing flower, but the children giggled and encouraged him. "You see," Lyra whispered, "it is not about being perfect. It is about trying, learning, and caring." The day continued with small challenges, a riddle contest, a cooperative painting where each family member added colors telepathically, and a BI. The next morning, Alex woke feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today, Lyra told him, would be a day of more unusual traditions. He wasn't sure what that meant, but judging from the small challenges yesterday, he expected something both strange and difficult. After breakfast, Lyra led him to a large courtyard in the center of the estate. The courtyard was surrounded by tall, glowing trees, and soft light seemed to float in the air. Several family members were already gathered, including Lyra's older brother, her younger siblings, and even a distant cousin Alex had not yet met. "Good morning, Alex," Lyra's father said, his voice calm but serious. "Today we will see how you work with others. Cooperation is important in our family. You must show patience and understanding." Alex nodded, feeling his stomach twist. He had never been particularly good at teamwork with strangers, especially alien strangers. Lyra's older brother approached, with a small, glowing orb. "This is the Kelly sphere," he explained. "It responds to emotion and thought. You must guide it through a series of obstacles using calmness and logic, with help from our youngest members." Alex looked at the floating orb, which pulsed gently with light. He took a deep breath and tried to focus. Lyra's younger siblings hovered beside him, smiling and pointing toward the first obstacle, a series of glowing hoops suspended in midair. The orb drifted in the opposite direction, ignoring his gestures. Alex frowned but remembered Lyra's words from yesterday. "It's not about being perfect, it's about trying and caring." He softened his mind, letting go of his frustration, and spoke quietly to the orb. Slowly it began to move toward the first hoop. The younger siblings cheered. Alex smiled, feeling more confident. He guided the orb through the second and third hoops, adjusting his approach with each step. The orb seemed to respond to his patience and steady emotions. When the final hoop approached, the orb hesitated. Alex could feel a faint vibration in his mind, a test of fear. He had to remain calm. Taking a deep breath, he reminded himself that mistakes were allowed. With gentle guidance, the orb passed through the last hoop and glowed brightly in celebration. The family clapped, and even Lyra's father gave a faint nod of approval. "Well done, Alex," he said. "You show calmness, patience, and empathy. That is what matters most." Alex exhaled, feeling a rush of pride. He had worried so much about failing, but now he realized the family valued his attitude more than perfection. Next, they moved to a smaller enclosed area where the family practiced an artistic tradition. The walls were covered in glowing paints that could float and shift. Each family member could contribute with a thought shaping the colors and patterns. Alex was handed a small brush, though he wasn't sure how it would interact with the floating paints. He dipped the brush and hesitated. His strokes caused the colors to swirl in unexpected ways, but instead of being wrong, the family smiled. Lyra's younger siblings guided him, showing how creativity and emotion could shape the patterns. For the first time, Alex laughed freely, watching as his Earth-style brush strokes merged with the glowing alien colors. The final artwork was a mix of chaotic Earth lines and soft, flowing Erythian patterns. Lyra's mother floated closer. "Your contribution is unique," she said. "It shows your perspective that is valued here." Alex felt warmth in his chest. It was strange, but he realized that these traditions weren't meant to intimidate him. They were meant to see who he was at his core. After the painting, Lyra's older brother announced a lighter challenge. They would share personal stories, but this time with a twist. They had to tell it while balancing on small hovering platforms. Alex wobbled slightly as he stepped onto the platform, trying to stay upright. Lyra's father raised an eyebrow. "The challenge is not in the story alone," he said, "but in maintaining composure under unusual circumstances. Life is often unpredictable. How you handle it reveals your character." Alex thought about Earth, about the times he had faced unexpected problems with friends or family. He began to speak about a time when a storm had knocked out power in his town, and he and his neighbors worked together to fix it. As he spoke, he wobbled, nearly falling, but he adjusted his balance and continued. By the time he finished, the family nodded in approval. Lyra floated beside him, smiling. "You see, Alex? You are handling this beautifully. You are showing who you are, human, but brave and thoughtful." The day ended with a small lesson in song and movement. Lyra's family had a traditional melody that involved floating gestures in rhythm with glowing patterns. Alex struggled at first, but with guidance from Lyra and her younger siblings, he began to match their movements. Laughter echoed through the courtyard as Alex stumbled and corrected himself repeatedly. By evening, Alex was exhausted but happy. Sitting on a soft, glowing bench, he watched the younger siblings play among the trees. He realized that while their world was different, the feelings and connections were not so strange. They laughed, they cared, they tested each other, and they celebrated achievements, all just like humans did. Lyra leaned on his shoulder. "You did very well today," she said softly. "They see what I see in you. A kind, patient, and clever human. You are more than I could have hoped for." Alex smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. "I just tried my best. I didn't want to disappoint anyone." "You didn't," Lyra replied. "You shared your heart, and that is what matters." As night fell over the glowing gardens, Alex felt a sense of peace. He had faced strange tests, worked with alien creatures, and learned about traditions he could never have imagined. Yet he also realized something important. Even in a world so different from Earth, his humanity, his ability to care, to try, to adapt, was appreciated. And for the first time, he felt he was not just a guest in this alien world, but someone who could belong. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new challenges, but tonight he allowed himself a quiet moment of pride and hope. Alex woke on his 4th day in Erythia to the sound of distant laughter. The younger siblings were already awake, running and floating through the gardens. He rubbed his eyes and wondered what today's challenge would be. Each day had surprised him, and he was certain today would be no different. When he stepped outside, Lyra was waiting with a playful smile. "Good morning," she said. "Are you ready?" Alex groaned softly. "That depends. Ready for what?" "You will see," Lyra teased, taking his hand. "My family believes that learning happens best when things do not go as planned. Today, you will face the unexpected." The words made Alex's stomach twist. "Unexpected? That doesn't sound safe." "Do not worry," Lyra said, her eyes glowing softly. "It is not about danger. It is about how you react when things do not go the way you hope." The family gathered in the courtyard once again. This time, Lyra's uncle, a tall Erythian with deep blue skin, stepped forward. "Alex," he said, "today you will visit our marketplace. You must find a way to bring back 3 special items for tonight's feast. You will not be told what they are in your language. You must rely on questions, patience, and understanding. Alex blinked. So like a scavenger hunt? The uncle tilted his head. If that is what humans call it, then yes. Lyra grinned. I will guide you only part of the way. The rest, you must figure out yourself. The marketplace was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Stalls floated, in midair, connected by glowing bridges. Creatures of every shape and color filled the space, some with wings, others with shimmering shells. Vendors called out in strange tones, displaying fruits, crystals, and objects Alex couldn't even name. His first challenge came quickly. He pointed at a glowing fruit, thinking it might be one of the required items. But when he picked it up, the vendor hissed softly, shaking their head. Lyra whispered, "Patience, listen. Do not grab. Ask." Alex nodded, embarrassed. He tried again, using gestures and simple words to ask what was needed. Slowly, the vendor showed him a spiky blue fruit that sparkled like ice. Alex carefully exchanged one of the small trinkets he had brought from Earth. The vendor smiled, and Alex placed the fruit in his bag. "That is one," Lyra said softly. The second task was harder. Alex had to find a glowing stone that sang when held. He spent nearly an hour walking through the stalls, listening, asking questions with hand signals, and even humming to show what he wanted. At last, an elderly vendor laughed kindly and handed him the stone. When Alex held it, a faint musical tone filled the air. By now, Alex was sweating from the effort. Communication was harder than he thought, but he was determined. The last item was the most difficult. Lyra's uncle had described it only in their language, and Alex couldn't understand the word. He looked at Lyra, but she only smiled and said, "You must figure it out yourself." Frustrated but not ready to give up, Alex began asking around. After several failed attempts, he noticed a small alien child pointing at him and giggling. The child held a jar of tiny glowing insects that floated like sparks of light. Alex realized this must be the item. He carefully offered the child a piece of chocolate from Earth. The child tasted it, their eyes glowing with surprise and delight, before happily giving Alex the jar. When Alex returned to the estate with all 3 items, the family greeted him warmly. Lyra's uncle nodded with approval. "You did not quit when things became confusing. You showed patience and creativity. That is what we hope to see." Alex felt his chest swell with pride. "I thought I would fail," he admitted. The 5th day on Arethia began with excitement in the air. Alex noticed it the moment he stepped out of his room. The estate glowed brighter than usual, as if the very walls knew something special was about to happen. Lyra smiled as she joined him, her eyes glowing with warmth. "Tonight," she said softly, "my family will host the Feast of Welcome. It is the final part of our traditions for accepting someone new. Everyone will be there, relatives from near and far. You will share stories, songs, and laughter with them." Alex blinked. "Everyone? As in, all of your relatives?" Lyra laughed gently. "Not all, but many. Do not be afraid. You have already shown them your heart. Tonight you will simply share it again." Alex tried to smile, but his stomach twisted. He had struggled enough with a few family members, now there would be dozens. He wasn't sure he could handle so many watchful eyes. Still, he reminded himself that he had come this far. He could not turn back now. Throughout the day, Alex helped prepare for the feast. The younger siblings pulled him into the gardens, asking for help gathering glowing fruits and arranging the floating lanterns. He stumbled often, but they laughed with him, not at him. Slowly, his nerves began to calm. By evening, the courtyard was transformed. Floating lanterns drifted above, glowing like tiny stars. Long tables hovered gently, filled with colorful dishes and sparkling drinks. The singing stone Alex had found in the marketplace was placed at the center, filling the air with a soft, musical hum. As the guests arrived, Alex felt his chest tighten. Dozens of Erythians floated into the courtyard, each shimmering in different colors. each curious about the human who had captured Lyra's heart. Alex tried not to stare at their strange but graceful forms. Instead, he stood by Lyra's side, clutching the small photo album he had brought from Earth. The feast began with laughter and greetings. Lyra's father rose first, welcoming the family and speaking about the importance of tradition. "Tonight," he said, his voice carrying across the courtyard, "we celebrate not only our ways, but also the new. We welcome Alex, who has shown patience, honesty, and courage." The family cheered softly, their voices blending in harmony. Alex felt his face heat. He was not used to so much attention. Then came the sharing of stories. Each family member told a short tale. Some were funny, others were lessons from their youth. Alex listened closely, amazed at how similar these moments were to human family gatherings. Despite the alien forms, the feelings were the same: love, humor, and belonging. Finally, it was Alex's turn. His hands shook slightly as he opened the photo album. "I brought something from Earth," he said, his voice steady but soft. "These are pictures of my life, my family, and my world." He showed them a picture of his small hometown, with its simple houses and wide fields. He explained how humans gathered for meals, told jokes around the table, and celebrated holidays together. He showed them his parents smiling in a faded photo and his friends laughing during a summer day. The Erythians leaned closer, their eyes glowing gently. Through their telepathic connection, Alex could feel their curiosity and warmth. They were not just looking at images. They were feeling the emotions behind them: his love for home, his memories of joy, his gratitude for the people in his life. When he finished, silence filled the courtyard for a moment. Then Lyra's mother spoke softly. "Your world is different, but your heart is the same as ours. Family, love, laughter, these connect us all." Alex felt a wave of relief. The tension in his chest eased, replaced by warmth. The evening continued with songs. Lyra's family sang in their native tongue, voices rising in harmony with the glowing lanterns above. The sound was unlike anything Alex had ever heard, haunting, yet beautiful. When they asked him to contribute, he hesitated, but then decided to share a simple Earth song his mother used to hum. His voice was unsteady at first, but Lyra joined in, adding her own melody. The two voices, human and alien, blended together in a way that made the courtyard glow brighter. The younger siblings cheered, and several relatives clapped their long limbs in delight. Alex laughed, surprised by how much fun he was having. Later, during the meal, one of Lyra's younger cousins became nervous while trying to perform a small ritual. The child's colors dimmed and their voice faltered. Without thinking, Alex crouched down beside them and spoke gently. "It's okay. You don't have to be perfect, just try. Everyone here cares about you." The child looked at him with wide, glowing eyes. Encouraged, they tried again, this time finishing the ritual successfully. The family cheered and the child hugged Alex tightly. Lyra's father watched the moment carefully. When Alex looked up, the older Erythian nodded in silent approval as the night went on. Alex found himself laughing, sharing food, and telling more stories. The fear that had weighed on him vanished. These aliens no longer felt like strangers. They felt like family. When the feast came to an end, Lyra pulled Alex aside into the glowing garden. The lanterns above cast soft light on her shimmering face. "You did wonderfully," she whispered. "They saw your heart again, and they accept you fully." Alex exhaled, finally allowing himself to relax. "I was so nervous, but I think I actually enjoyed it." Lyra smiled, her eyes bright. "That is because you belong here, Alex. My family knows it, and so do I." They stood together in the glowing garden, listening to the faint hum of the singing stone in the distance. For Alex, the night had been more than a feast. It had been proof that even in a world so different from his own, he could find a place, a family, and a future. Ethan stood on the balcony of the great palace, the soft alien winds brushing against his face. The twin moons of Luthara hung above, bathing the land in silver light. Behind him, voices of laughter and joy echoed through the halls. The feast in his honor had ended, yet the warmth of the gathering still lingered in his heart. He could hardly believe the journey he had taken. Weeks ago, he was just a human visiting another world, unsure if he belonged in a culture so different from his own. Now he stood as someone welcomed, respected and loved. A soft hand touched his shoulder. Lyra stepped beside him, her glowing eyes reflecting the moons. "You look thoughtful," she said. "I was just thinking about how far this all has gone," Ethan admitted. "When I first met you, I didn't imagine I'd be standing in your family's palace, treated as one of their own." Lyra smiled, her expression gentle. "My family saw what I saw in you. A kind heart, a courage that doesn't shout but acts when needed. That is rare, even here." Ethan chuckled softly. "I thought they were going to tear me apart during the trials. Your mother's test with the council, your father's questions, your brother challenging me. I was sure I'd fail. But you didn't," Lyra said, her voice firm. "You stood your ground. You respected them, but you never pretended to be someone else. That's why they accepted you." Ethan leaned against the balcony rail, staring out at the alien horizon. "It feels strange. On Earth, I'm just another guy. Here, I feel like I matter." "You matter everywhere," Lyra whispered. "But here, perhaps it shows more clearly." The doors behind them opened and King Thaler entered. His presence was always commanding, yet tonight his steps were softer, more thoughtful. Ethan quickly straightened, uncertain if he should bow or stay relaxed. The king stopped a few paces away, looking at Ethan with sharp but calm eyes. "Human," he said slowly. "Yes, sir?" Ethan asked, heart thudding. "You have surprised me," the king continued. "When Lyra brought you here, I expected nothing. I thought you would crumble under the weight of our traditions, but you proved otherwise." Ethan swallowed. "I only tried to be honest." "And that honesty," the king said, "is why you stand here now. My daughter has chosen you, and after seeing your strength of spirit, I will not stand against her choice." Ethan blinked, unsure he heard correctly. "You approve?" The king gave a small nod. "I do. You are not like us, yet you did not try to become us. You remained human, and in that you showed more honor than many who claim loyalty here." Lyra's eyes sparkled as she reached for Ethan's hand. "Thank you, father." King Thaler's stern face softened for a brief moment. "Do not thank me, daughter. Thank him. He earned his place." He turned to Ethan once more. "But know this. Being part of our family means more trials will come. You will not always find peace. Are you ready for that burden?" Ethan's voice was steady. "If it means standing beside Lyra, then yes. Whatever comes, I'll face it." The king studied him for a long moment, then gave a slow nod. Without another word, he left the balcony, leaving only the quiet night behind. The next morning, the palace buzzed with energy. Servants moved quickly, banners were hung, and preparations filled the halls. Ethan soon learned why. The council had called for a public ceremony. "They wish to announce you," Lyra explained, helping him adjust the ceremonial robe. It was light yet elegant, lined with silver patterns that shimmered faintly. "Announce me?" Ethan asked nervously. Lyra smiled. "Yes, as someone who has been welcomed into the royal house. It is a rare thing. The people will want to see you." Ethan felt his palms sweat. "I'm not sure I'm ready for that." "You faced my brother in combat," Lyra reminded him. "You faced my mother's sharp words. You faced my father's judgment. You are ready." The great square of Luthera was filled with citizens, their glowing eyes fixed on the raised platform where the royal family stood. Murmurs spread through the crowd when Ethan appeared Lyra, his human feature,